This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Starting a little early. That's cool. Because, you know, we're kind of flexible on this show. We have a little early, sometimes we have a little late start. Depends on what Mark Thompson does. And today he was a little bit early. So welcome to the After Party Live on a Travel Tuesday. Last week we went to the island of Menorca, which I thought was really fun. So this week I was searching for another island that maybe you haven't heard of, maybe you have, maybe you've been there, but maybe it'll be something new to explore. So I found an island off the coast of Croatia that I thought we could go look at. It's called Havar. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Hvar, Havar. So we'll go check it out and see what's going on that island and what's that about. I do want to thank the folks that contribute to this show, that crowdfunded and keep it rolling, and that includes Wes, who comes in on this July 15th with $5. No, with $10. $10 from Wes today. You've surprised me, sir. Thank you so much for that. Really, really nice. And thank you to Wes yesterday as well for the contribution, and Scott R. and Amy S. for the recurring PayPal contributions. The PayPal information is in the show description, and it's in the About tab as well. So should you be able to help crowdfund the show, that is where the information is located. I probably don't say it enough, but once a show seems to be even too much for me. Also, if you could click the like button, just clickety click it. And then if you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe as well. I think at last check, I was about 15 subscribers away from 2,500. It's kind of taken a long time to get there because we have a nice little group, you know, but we're almost at 2,500. So if you haven't subscribed, that would be very helpful. I'm trying to get the latest number is, 2,485. All right, so we need 15 more. We'll be at 2,500. Goal achieved, level unlocked, and hopefully we'll get it done. Let's see, what do we have? Looking in the chat. Is it Hawaiian time? Yeah, it is Hawaiian time, you know, whenever we feel like it. That's right, Phineas. It is Hawaiian time. Rhonda, I'm so glad you introduced your friend to Mark Thompson. The more people we share the show with, the more success it will have, the more the word gets out. And I hope people enjoy the show and are entertained enough that they come away with some new, good, true information as well. So that's the hope with that. Yeah, I wonder too, Susan. Susan asks, how does the crown thing work? Something with YouTube and contributing to the show. And if you have a crown, it makes it easier. But I don't know how you get a crown or where the crowns are located. I have to explore this. But I'm curious as well, Susan. So yeah. Ren just returned from Canada. Vancouver has several Atlas Obscura sites. Very cool. Love their steam clock. Do other people enjoy looking up oddities on vacation? Yes, you've come to the right place. Oddities, weird stuff. Absolutely. Rhonda says he did enjoy the show. That's fantastic. Thank you. Always cheers to Hawaii. Aloha. All right, let's jump into some of the stories we have ready for you, because there's some interesting things afoot in the world. And one of them has to do with, what is that? What is happening? What is going on? I have to thank my friends, Heather and Steve, for this contribution to the show. The lead story. It's billed as an animal butt sniffing museum, but it's technically at an aquarium in Japan. And it allows people to sniff the butts of animals. Now, we know dogs, you know, they're all about, that's how they say, how do you do? That's how they shake hands, right? A little sniff, sniff, and you're on your way. This is a one-of-a-kind museum in Japan that's all about the sniffing of the animal butts. And how could I not lead with this story? The animals aren't real. You can see here, that's not a real penguin behind. But I still don't know if I would be willing to shove my nose near that hole and sniff because I don't know what's going to come out. But the museum has everything from penguin butts to tiger butts to cat butts. It's at Japan's Otoa Aquarium near Kobe, Japan. And visitors can sniff the back of the animal through a small hole in the glass, which is right near the animal's backside. So you can kind of see the hole there, right? Yeah. Um, some have alleged that the pictures are enhanced with artificial scents, um, creating an effective experience that people didn't realize they would enjoy, and they actually did, because they're kind of pictures or statues of animals. Yeah. Uh, I don't know what to make of all this. I don't think that I would want to do it, and I don't understand why you would do it. But people go and they sniff the animal butts at this museum. Yeah, I don't know. Is it supposed to smell like their rear end? And do I really want that in my nose? I don't know the answer or why. Supposedly, you're supposed to be able to use all of your senses at this museum, right? You see it, you touch it, you sniff it. Yeah. Um, I think I could do without the full sensory experience. Uh, the way they're displayed though are like they're in picture frames. Glass framed pictures of various animal butts with the small openings that you can poke your nose through and you can get a whiff. And each frame is doused with this synthetic fragrance to mimic the real smell of the rear end of an animal. I'm just saying, no, thank you. You know, people, they laugh. It's funny. They're disgusted, but they're having a good time, the whole thing. One person said the penguin's bum actually smelled a little sweet. The tiger, on the other hand, maybe not so good. Yeah, the Atoa website has a gallery section, and it explains this exhibit is a space to experience with all your senses. The art in each of the frames, digital art, light and shadow, smells and sounds, will excite your senses. No, maybe not so much. Would you sniff? I'm going to the chat. Would you do a little snifferoo? What if they eat asparagus? Don't sniff. Yeah, I don't know. Rhonda says, now y'all got me laughing too hard again. Sounds like a business opportunity for here in the US. What did they say? The Jim Avila quote. How many people are idiots? What's the percentage? Rev says you can get really high from the fear spray that comes out of animal butts. Oh God, no. And how do you know that? I don't want to know how you know that, Rev P. Oh my gosh. So Steve and Heather, you win the award for the weirdest story I've ever seen, and I would not have had that if it weren't for you guys. So thank you. Thank you. Or curse you or thank you. I'm not sure which. I don't know the answer. So from animal butts to how about this super cool video? I think I have it. Oh, I might not have it. It's a video of a seal that is oh no. Come on now. I must have copied the wrong link. I'm going to do a quick search for it. This seal, and I mean, I know it's not a surprise that seals know how to ride the waves, but there's this video, and I'll try to find it again. God, it's so good. Of this seal just riding the waves, surfing the waves, and having the best time and looking so fun. And sadly, I can't find that video, so that's a my bad and my fault. But I will hold on. Let me do one other thing. I'm not quite ready to give up just yet. I'm sorry, you're stuck with a picture of the animal butts for one moment more. I know. I hear you. I hear the complaints as if you were not just chatting but yelling at me. Oh, let's see. I found it. I think it's going to be worth it because this show is all about bringing you joy. And this is certainly joyful. So let me share this with you. A seal riding a wave like a pro. And here it is. I'll scroll back a little bit. Check this seal out. Look at him go. That's pretty awesome. I don't think there's any sound with this.
That was so sick.
And here he comes again.
There's no one here. So they go. Let's go. Pop up again. Where are you at?
He's just having fun out there in the waves. And here he comes again. Pops right up. There he goes. You can see him going to the curl.
Yes. Oh, come on, mate. Go.
How fun is that? And joyful and relaxing to watch.
He's better than some people at TA.
I think it was worth it. Yeah. Just a little bit more. Sometimes just the sound of the waves is relaxing. Then you add the amusing seal. I'll take it. Yeah, maybe he's done. All right. Yeah, I thought that video was really cool. So thank you for bearing with me. And sorry that it took me a second to find the right link. How about this? Speaking of animals, what is it? It's a green pigeon. Why is it green? Tourists are headed to see this bright green pigeon in the UK. It's in Northampton, England. And there is a video of a bright green pigeon. The video of this creature, of course, has gone viral on TikTok. People have been headed to Northampton to try to catch a glimpse of this pigeon. People traveling quite a ways just to see it, apparently. The pigeon's color is unlikely to have a natural cause. There is no wild pigeon that looks bright green like this. It looks like it's been dyed, and that green coloring looks extremely artificial. According to one of the editors of Birdwatch magazine, that this is not natural. It's unlikely this bird's diet has any factor in its coloration. And the animal folks have warned against this trend of dyeing pigeons blue and pink for gender reveal parties. So it's unclear if that's why this bird looks like this. The thinking is that the dyes and the paints can be toxic to birds and other animals. They would likely try to clean those substances from their feathers, and they could swallow it, and then, yeah, not good. Also, until the next molt, this pigeon will likely be more at risk in the wild. So the fact that it's green isn't necessarily a good thing, but I guess for the tourists of Northampton and for the shop owners and what have you, it's good because they're getting a lot of business with people coming to try to see this pigeon, but that's not normal. Yeah, we don't have green pigeons in the world, but there he is. Wonder how he ended up that way. This is just a quick mention of this story. The title is The Naughty Tortoise. This is like one of those comedies of errors where bad goes to worse. This tortoise started a fire in his caretaker's apartment in London. The London Fire Brigade had to come out. They call him a naughty tortoise who sparked a blaze by knocking over his heat lamp. They had to run to the 4th floor of an apartment building, and they discovered a small fire. It was contained to one room of a residence. The fire, they say, was caused by the naughty tortoise knocking over his heat lamp, which then fell onto hay, which is a combustible material, in his aquarium. The tortoise and his canine sibling, not injured, reunited with their owners. But can you imagine going to work? There's a fire at your apartment that your turtle started. Yeah. So that's what happened. That's what happened there. Look at this creature. Such an interesting bird. This is natural. This is not like the green pigeon. It's a Harpy Eagle. And apparently it attacked a lady in French Guiana. They say this is a very, very rare occurrence. But here's how it went down. There was a bunch of people on a trip, on a nature excursion. And it's called they were at an ecotourism camp along the Curragh River Basin, about 18 miles from the coast. And there were about 10 tourists and a guide, and they were walking on a trail toward a bathing area when they saw this Harpy Eagle perched on a branch about 20 feet high. And the eagle was focusing on people, bobbing its head. They were taking pictures and they were watching it. And there was a woman, 29 years old, about 5'6" and 114 pounds. So she's relatively on the smaller side, right? Very petite woman. And she was walking back on and forth on the path while she was taking pictures. The rest of the group continues on, and this woman and her partner stay behind because they're really interested in this bird. And as they decide they're done and they're walking away, this adult Harpy Eagle swoops down toward this lady. She immediately curls into a ball with her hands on her face, but the eagle grabbed her skull in its talons and it stayed on top of her. Even when her partner was trying to get her free, the bird didn't let up until basically the man stomped its head down on the ground and held it there. Then the woman gets free. The eagle flies away, looks like it's uninjured, looks like it's fine after all of this. But people could hear it calling for quite some time. So the question is, why did this bird attack this woman? And the thinking is from wildlife experts that it's possible this bird was hunting, that there was a primate that was killed in the area in recent days, also possibly by this eagle. And also, just before the group saw the eagle, they were surprised by an animal called a paca, Paca, which is this large, usually nocturnal rodent on the trail. And so it may have been that the tourists interrupted this eagle while feeding on the primate or while hunting this paca, and that was a defense of its prey, the attack of a person. The eagle's intent watching of the tourists, according to a paper on this matter, might have foreshadowed the aggression. So if the eagle is particularly interested in you, then there might be a problem. The head bobbing behavior means the animal is measuring distance, which is a method that's commonly used to evaluate whether something is worth attacking. Best thing to do, give this kind of animal a wide berth. Don't stop and take a lot of pictures. That there are still wild creatures out here that you have to be really careful of. That's what the wildlife experts are saying. So it's not unheard of that an eagle would attack, say, an infant, a toddler, not usually a grown person. But it happens, and it happens so infrequently enough that researchers felt it was worth writing about. I just love the picture of that eagle. I wouldn't want its talons in my head, but look at that animal. This is a fun story. Kind of, also weird. That's got to be the most narrow car ever. This man cut a Fiat down to 19.7 inches. I don't think everyone's going to fit in this vehicle. No. They call it the Fiat Panda. It's earned itself a devoted fan base, apparently, since it debuted in 1980. So this guy takes his Fiat Panda that he's been given. The regular Fiat Panda is just 57.5 inches wide. They weigh about 1,500 pounds, and they're very popular cars because of the tight streets in many European towns, but not quite tight enough for this guy. His name is Andrea Marazzi, and he documented his attempts to build what is the world's thinnest Fiat Panda. He measured his own width, his body width, and he sliced away 37.8 inches of a vehicle that was donated to the effort. A headlight and most of the windshield were gone in the process. Now this is less than 2 feet wide. It doesn't have room for the original 4-cylinder engine, so Marazzi had to change it out for a small electric motor powered by a pair of 12-volt batteries. Even with the size cut down like this, it kept the original tires. The front and back seat is still in there, smaller, but in there. Its final form is thinner than most mountain bikes, and at 600 pounds, less than half of its original weight. It is drivable, but it's tailor-made for this man's size. And there you go. He's really outdone himself. I have to show you the video of this, which is I don't know. It would have to be, you would have to just be this guy, because I don't think a lot of people would be able to squeeze into this thing. All I'm looking at that thinking, one accident and you're toast. It flips over onto its side, or it's so crushed that you're not going to survive that. Just no thank you. But he's very excited that he's done this. And here's what the video looks like. To take the picture away to show you the video. Here you go. Here it is. No. Sorry, hold on for just a second. I'm having all kinds of trouble today. That's what happens when I start early. No can do. All right. Hold on. I'm going to share it with you. We're going to see it. Here it is. You guys see this?
Siccome in tanti mi hanno domandato degli interni.
Look at that little seat.
Questi sono gli interni. Sedile posteriore, originale, stoffa originale. Sedile anteriore, tutto originale. Spugna, stoffa. Ancora la sua maniglia. Cruscotto originale, anche lui tagliato, accorciato. Volante, ovviamente funzionante.
Tiny steering wheel.
Ovviamente funzionante. Tappetino. Freno, acceleratore.
And there you go. The world's narrowest car unveiled in Italy. So, congratulations to Mr. Marazzi. There's 0% chance of me driving that thing around. Let's move to these doggies. This is the oldest known dog breed. I thought the oldest known dog breed was a Basenji, but according to this story, this is the oldest known dog breed. They are working dogs. And because they have been working beside humans for so long, the genetic history of these dogs may well settle the long-term debate from historians and archaeologists about Viking outposts and human migration. These are sled dogs, working dogs. This is the Greenland Sled Dog. That's the name of this dog. They're called the Quimek or Quimit in Greenlandic. These Greenland sled dogs have a history that's traceable back 9,500 years to eastern Siberia. And these dogs have been an isolated group for about 1,000 years of that time. They are, according to scientists, among the oldest, possibly the oldest dog breed on Earth. And a study published July 10th in the journal Science Paleogenetics, in the journal Science, That's the name of the journal. Paleogeneticists mapped the path of these canines from their ancient origin up to the present day. And what they found gives us some insight into the spread of Greenland sled dogs, their movement over the millennia, and their accompanying human history as well. They also say the research they're doing on this could be critical in preserving a healthy sled dog populations into the future. It's been 1,000 years of human Greenland sled dog partnership. These have been working dogs. They are still almost exclusively bred by mushers to pull sleds for transportation and to assist in hunts as well. This working dog has been performing the same task with the same people, groups of people, for 1,000 years or more, which is what sets them apart from Arctic and other sled dog breeds. So Alaskan Huskies and Malamutes are more intermixed with other types of dogs, but the Greenland sled dog, not so much. The researchers sequenced 92 whole dog genomes from ancient times to the present day. They got samples from museums, from bones collected at archaeological sites, of fur preserved in traditional Inuit clothing. The 63 contemporary genomes from these Greenland sled dogs were provided by Greenlandic mushers who took cheek swabs and saliva from their pups. I have a picture of that. It looks like, you think, do they hurt the dog to get this type of thing? Absolutely not. This dog looks like it's so, I don't know if it's willing to please its musher or its, caretaker, but it looks like no problem. No problem at all. Just a little swab, just a little swabby swab. The research team separated the DNA into 3 major groupings: pre-contact between the Inuit and Europeans, post-contact until 1998, and then post-1998 to present-day samples. And then they compared the genome groupings to each other. And they took some ancient samples, like a Siberian Zhukov dog and a 3,700-year-old dog from a region of Alaska, and other modern dogs around the world. They also looked at wolves and jackals as well. And they found that the genetics of this dog have remained pretty consistent over time, going back to the earliest sled dogs. From their Siberian origin point about 10,000 years ago, they were able to trace the Greenland sled dog movement with people across the Arctic ice into Alaska, then across the Canadian Arctic to the northwest of Greenland. Because of how similar the genomes from these dogs are to Alaskan and Canadian dogs from thousands of years prior, the researchers infer the Inuit spread across the North American Arctic unfolded rapidly in as little as 1 to 2 centuries before the Greenland sled dogs became relatively isolated. So because of the genetic markers in these dogs, the researchers suggest the Inuit arrived in Greenland between 800 and 1200 years ago, which that's a few centuries earlier than most estimates. And it suggests the Inuit got to Greenland sooner than previously thought. They're not the first people to say this, but they're the first people to be able to have some proof to put behind it. So, interesting. And it all comes down to the relationship between humans and dogs when you look at that. Check this out. It's a picture of a Stradivarius, 316-year-old violin. It was looted during World War II. It's called the Small Mendelson. And now, people that have been searching for this think they have located it in Japan. Of course, the person in Japan who owns this Stradivarius is like, nope, that's not the Small Mendelson. This Stradivarius violin was stolen from a Berlin bank in 1945 at the end of World War II. There was chaos. The thinking was for a time that maybe it was destroyed. It was definitely lost to history, they thought. But 80 years later, they think now it is in Japan. This Stradivarius was created in 1709 by Antonio Stradivari during his golden period, and it's called the Small Mendelson. They Experts think that it's the same violin as what's called the Stella, the Small Mendelson, the Stella, a Stradivarius dated to 1707. The Stella is currently owned and played by Japanese violinist Eijin Nimura, who is denying this connection completely. But the two instruments were tied together in the summer of 2024 when a cultural property scholar with the Institute of European Studies at UC Berkeley found some pictures of this violin from a 2018 exhibition in Tokyo. And she realized that there were some serious similarities between the two instruments. She said it was jaw-dropping. And there's this group of folks that make up the Lost Music Projects. They search for cultural objects like instruments and books that were looted by the Nazis during the war. And they have been looking for the Small Mendelson for more than 15 years. They have been around so long that they inevitably have dings and wear marks and nicks and all kinds of markings on them that make them unique and interesting. This Mendelson violin belonged to a wealthy German banking family, the Mendelson Bankes. It was officially registered in the 1930s. It was photographed some point before it was stolen. And Franz von Mendelson was a partner at the Mendelson Bank in Berlin, and he hid this violin in the bank's storage area. In 1938, the Nazis forcibly liquidated the Mendelson Bank and its assets, including this Stradivarius. They were absorbed by the Deutsche Bank. And then in the spring of 1945, when Hitler checked out and the war was over, the Soviet army entered Berlin. They took control of this bank. It's unclear whether it was plundered and the violin stolen before or after the Soviets arrived. But for years after, the Mendelson Banke family tried to find this violin. They put ads in international magazines. They filed reports with the Federal Ministry of the Interior in Germany. Never found it. The violin known as the Stella, meanwhile, appeared in 1995 when it was sold in Paris by an unnamed Russian violinist who claimed to have purchased the instrument in 1953. They think the violin's label may have been misread or somehow mistaken when the date of its construction, 1707, was put on the tab. The Stella was photographed by a string instrument auction house in 2000, and then it was acquired by this violinist Nomura in 2005. Now, the Mendelson family says this is one and the same violin. It's the same dimensions. It's the same wood grain. There are dozens of tiny scratches that are exactly identical. And the photos, they say, prove that this is the same violin. And violin experts say, well, before 2005, we'd never heard of this Stradivarius called the Stella. They say the Japanese violinist says, we have no information regarding this, including any actual factual basis that the allegations have merit. The estimates are that this Mendelson is worth about $5 million. But it's really hard to trace the provenance of these musical instruments that were lost or stolen, especially during the Nazi era. There have been a lot of families of Jewish descent who have successfully recovered Nazi looted artworks. Musical instruments, a little harder to prove. So, the fight ongoing between the Mendelson family and the violinist in Japan denying that this is one and the same instrument. But there are a lot of scholars who think that there are similarities enough and the stories of the recently emerging Stella that this is the same instrument. So we'll see what happens to it. Are you guys ready to travel? I'm kind of ready to travel. Let's do it. This is Travel Tuesday. Time to just take a deep breath, learn about a new place, visualize yourself walking through the beauty of this island, the landscape. We're going to the island of Havar today. I'm hoping you enjoy it. Havar is off the coast of Croatia. It is the capital, they say, of this island in Croatia's Dalmatian region. The town has white stoned Venetian Renaissance buildings. There's precious artwork here, galleries, boutiques, cafes, super yachts moored in the harbor. And there are so many things to do. So let's start it at church. So, shall we? Yes, we're going to church. The first stop on our trip is going to be St. Stevens Cathedral, also called Havar Cathedral. And here is a look at it. That's pretty nice. I think I have. Can I make it big? I don't know how to make it bigger. Anyway, so this is Havar Cathedral. And it is the first stop and listed as one of the most exciting things to see and do. I know you're thinking a church, but sometimes you go see a church and it's just breathtaking. The cathedral's square Renaissance bell tower, they say, is an unforgettable sight in the evenings when it's white stone illuminated by the last light of the day. You can see right through the structure's narrow arches. Inside of this church, Renaissance art, and a lot of it. Works by Palma Jr., Stefano Celesti, other painters as well. An amazing Madonna and Child, a Venetian work from the 1220s by an unknown artist. Worth seeing. Again, that is St. Stephen's Cathedral, also called Havar Cathedral. And then let's go a little bit down the road to, or right in front, I should say, to St. Stephen's Square. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful with the hills in the background? Really, really cool. St. Stephen's Square is runs from the cathedral all the way down to the harbor in the central plaza. It's probably the largest, it is the largest central plaza in Dalmatia. It's long and it has an irregular shape, but it is the center of the social world. There are cafes and restaurants that are located all around the square, which was once part of the bay, but some clever engineering helped to level out the land during the 18th century when they paved it. If you head here during the holiday season, they say it's a very tranquil place to sip a cup of coffee and admire the 16th century fountain that is here as well. Shall we go to this Franciscan Monastery? Check it out. Wow, what a view. So beautiful. This is the magnificent Franciscan Monastery. Inside and out, it is worth seeing. It's a walled Renaissance monastery on a headland near the harbor. You can see the bell tower here on top as well. If you go into this monastery, you'll see exquisite works of high Renaissance art. The highlight, the depiction of the Last Supper. It's really big. No one is sure Exactly which artist painted this one, whether it was Palma Jr. or another Venetian artist, Matteo Ingoli, they don't know, but it's really worth seeing. And then let's head over to the Venetian loggia and clock tower area. Hopefully I'm saying this right. This is a cool clock tower. Sometimes you see clock towers that rise above. This one's kind of embedded in the building. Look at that. Can you imagine yourself sitting under that umbrella at that table right in front of the clock tower? It's an opulent piece of Renaissance architecture. Once part of the Venetian governor's palace, the design from the High Renaissance, but there had been a palace on this spot going back to at least the 1300s. Originally, the palace was much larger, but it was severely damaged during an attack by the Ottomans in the late 1500s. So the clock tower is a later addition dating to the 1800s, replacing the one that had been destroyed by the Turks several hundred years before. Okay, now this one, instead of the cathedral, might have been my first stop. But this is the Spanish fortress on the island of Havar. Look at that. So much history right there. It's called the Spaniola Fortress, right up from the main square where we were moments ago. You ascend the steep stairway to this Venetian fortress from the 1500s. Still in really good shape considering its age. It's got the walls, the towers, and tunnels to check out as well. On the battlements, you can look through the cannon embrasures for an unbroken view of Havar town and the framed by the Adriatic and Palenque Islands as well. Inside, there are displays of historic artifacts, all kinds of things from the earlier Bronze Age stronghold on this spot as well. Really incredible. And if you've had enough of historic buildings for the time being, let's head to the beach. Look at this. Look at the color of that water. So pretty. This is Dubova. It's called the best beach on the island. Easy to get to by car or scooter. Dubova is called a tranquil little cove with glassy blue Adriatic waters. The sea here is so clear that from a distance it'll look like swimmers and boats are suspended in the air. This cove cuts a long way inland, and its beach is a gentle curve of small pebbles. On the west side of the bay is a little town of stone houses, and behind them the dusty hills with Aleppo pines. And again, this is called Dubova, said to be the best beach on the island. And you know, nothing says island vacation like a little island hopping. So let's check out the Palenque Islands. Look at them. They're glorious. The travel, the island hopping, can be easily done by water taxi. It's right off Havar's southwest coast, the Palenque Islands. If you rent a motorboat for the day, also possible, you'll have a little more freedom to go hop from island to island. They say every few minutes you'll want to stop and take in the views or dive into the inviting waters. Some of the beaches, like Palmazzana, have beach bars, so you have the chance to take a little lunch and a little sippy sip, and the rest of the time can be spent discovering unfrequented coves or going ashore for a stroll in perfect seclusion. Let's go to Havar's southern coast. I don't know if I want to leave the islands. That's so cool. That's worth the price of admission right there. Check out this little village. This is Sveta Nedjelja. They say the best reason to visit it is to marvel at the precarious setting because it's halfway along the southern coast. It's atop sheer bluffs that tumble to the sea below St. Nicholas, which is Havar's highest mountain. Just above this village a cave inhabited by in Neolithic times. And on the steep, sunny slopes of the mountain, there are terraced vineyards where they grow red Polvac molly grapes, which thrive in Havar's dolomite and limestone soils. The restaurants serve bottles of Dignac and Postup made with this grape variety. So perhaps there's a chance to do a little wine tasting up here. I don't know. Exactly opposite this Havar town is this small uninhabited island called Jerolim. And there it is. Pretty view from Jerolim. It's got pine trees and a narrow strip of white rocks and shingle beaches around the edge. Water taxi takes you about 15 minutes to get there. And then once you're on the island, you're free to go wherever you want. There's a beach called Cordovan Beach on the island of Jerolim, where you can find the only bar on the island. It was mainly for nudists once upon a time, but now there's a mixture. So everyone is welcome. Pretty cool. Here's another one, and I have to tell you, this is what made me want to come to this island today, and it looks like an absolute dream. Whoa. Seriously, look at that. That's incredible. Looking at some stone steps next to blue waters with green trees and a church in the background. It's just a really idyllic setting. This is Brack Island. It is the neighboring island to Havar, separated by the Havar Channel, the third largest in the Dalmatian chain here. Again, we hop aboard a water taxi to one of these coastal towns, or we can take a ferry to spend the day seeing this peaceful island. Brack Island is known for its historical quarries, and you can see it looks like they put the rocks to good use here. It's the source of the immaculate white limestone used for some of Croatia's biggest landmarks. Right now, still to this day, Brack is a center for stonemasonry. They have 2 schools located on the southern side of Brack Island to train stonemasons. This is an interesting picture of this waterway. God, I don't want to leave there. It's so beautiful. Look at this. How the water comes in. Look at all the boats parked all the way around that inlet. This is Starrad. It's the main ferry port. After you hop off your boat, you can spend a few hours digging into Croatian heritage. This 16th century writer, Petar Hektrovic, during the Ottoman invasion, took it upon himself to fortify his own summer residence and protect some of Starrad's citizens. They have a castle here because of that. Trvdalji Castle is much the same now as it was then. And you can also check out the fish pool, fed by seawater and surrounded on all 4 sides by arcaded stone terraces. The fish pool. Again, that's in Starrad. How about we go to the idyllic town of Jelsa? It's a resort about halfway along the upper coast. And here's what it looks like. That's pretty. There's Jelsa. Jelsa is surrounded by green trees and red tile roofed buildings right on the edge of the water. It's a 20-minute drive east to the resort of Jelsa, the island's favorite family beach resort. Also, though, a paved old town full of sights, great for a walking tour. At the heart of this city is the Croatian Renaissance Square, enclosed by tables and awnings of restaurants. St. Ivan's Square is here as well. It's a little tiny plaza around the walls of a little octagonal church with Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque style things to see in this area. I think we've been here before, but we're going here again because why not? We're in the neighborhood. Check it out. This is the boat trip to the Blue and Green Caves. You can hop island to island on this guided motorboat tour. The first stop will be Ravnik Island, which is the home to the Green Cave, where the sunlight creates an ethereal emerald green glow. The skipper stops, gives you about a half hour to swim in the sea, and then we're off here to the Blue Cave on Bisevo Island shoreline. You can check out the wild cliffs of the coast as you approach, and then when you're inside the Blue Cave on your boat, it is dreamlike, almost like neon light caused by a narrow shaft of sunlight reflected by the sand on the floor of the cave. Yes, please. Can't leave Havar Island without picking up some lavender to take home. Lavender, a big deal on Havar Island. It's organically produced, sown, and picked by hand, the lavender on Havar's hillsides, and it's supposed to be a fragrant reminder of your visit. You can buy a small Hessian sack filled with lavender flowers to bring home. They also sell lavender essential oils, which can be put in your bath or used as a massage oil. These lavender items are all over the island at the gift shops and the markets, even at the pharmacies, all kinds of things. And there you have it. That is Havar Island. Just a couple more pictures to show you of this island, of places that we've already seen. Here is another shot that I have of that Spanish fortress as you walk up the steps. Yep. Here's another shot of the cathedral. Pretty beautiful. And this is a little old abandoned village where the trees grow through the walls. This is something also that should have been on their list. It's called Malo Grabalhe. This is an abandoned village offering a glimpse into past life in Havar. The last remaining residents left this village in the 1950s, and today, Malo Grabalhe shows you how nature can reclaim a village with the trees growing through the walls of the abandoned homes there. Creepy but cool all at the same time. And that, my friends, is Travel Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Thank you for coming along with me. I so appreciate it. And thank you for the contributions to the show and all the help and all the stories. Huge thanks to Steve and Heather for passing the animal butt story to me. Also, Calvin Wong always sending stories. Teacher Lori got some great stories and comments from Julie D and Yvonne as well. So thank you guys. Thanks, Wes, for the $10 contribution to the show today. Always appreciate that. And thank you for being here. Just love spending this hour with you guys and hanging out. Going to the chat to see what you have to say. Lavender deters mosquitoes and other pests. Great. Sign me up. Jim, thank you for the tour. Thank you for the comment, Jim. I appreciate it. Oh, Jim, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you sent me an email yesterday that would get me probably demonetized if I played it. I think it was you who sent me this amazing ukulele performance, and I would love to I would love to post this for anybody that wants to see this ukulele performance, which just really knocked me on my rear end yesterday. I made my son watch it. I made my daughter watch it. Absolutely loved it. It's this woman called a Hawaiian virtuoso, and she was at Stern Grove in San Francisco and performed E Ala E. And the video of it is really cool. What she can do with a ukulele is crazy cool. So I'm posting the link in the chat right now. And take a look at that if you have time after the show. And if you think this is kind of weird for like the first few seconds, give it a minute. The rhythm, the ukulele playing, there are a couple different moments during her performance that are just wow, jaw-dropping. Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing that with me. So yeah, I love getting the messages from you guys. Just really cool. Yeah, Yvonne, you're going to want to check that out. I put the link in the chat. And so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. All right. Thank you for spending Travel Tuesday with me. Tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, we've got John Rothman coming in. We've got Belinda Weymouth back from vacation. She took a really long one. We'll have to hear about her travels. And then here on the After Party Live, we'll find some really cool waterfalls to take the edge off and get a little relaxation in. But for now, make it the very best rest of your Tuesday. And I will see you tomorrow here on the YouTube. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I'm so sorry. Yikes. Yeah, we loved it. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for saying. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe it's just... I like this plan. Thank you, Mom. Beware.